What's poppin', everybody? Episode 72 of the Slip and Weave podcast. Got a very exciting guest this week. Top middleweight prospect, one of the best in the world right now, Troy Isley. Very excited to have him on. Before we get into that, I just quickly want to talk about the return of Teofimo Lopez, man. Getting a 7th round stoppage over Pedro Campa. You know, I'm not going to lie. I thought it was a really strong performance. I thought he looked really good. I went back and I watched it a second time. So the first time I watched it, I thought it was a good performance, but what my initial takeaway was that he spent too much time on the ropes, and there was too many sequences where he let Campa get a combination off. And I think that was true to some extent, but then when I watched the fight again for a second time, I was more impressed with it. Once the pressure of the moment was off, I was much more impressed with it. You know, there were moments where Campa pinned Teo to the ropes, but some of that I think you have to give credit to Campa for being a tough guy, being a big, strong 140-pounder who showed up to win. You know what I'm saying? So I think some of it was just that Campa did some nice work and presented some challenges to Teo. I think some of that might be ring rust, but I think if there was a lesson, like a real lesson to be learned from Teofimo's fight with George Kambosos, it was, if you're taking a guy serious, you can't just come out rushing, swinging with everything, which is what he did against Kambosos, and that's how we got dropped in that first round. He didn't do that with Campa. He came out real patient. He let his jab go. He looked for the openings. He didn't press for the openings. He looked for them. He let Campa give them to him. And he got better in basically every round of the fight. And I felt like by the 5th, 6th, 7th round when he stopped him, he was in a real special kind of groove, a real special rhythm. And you'll see later in my interview, but I said it to Troy. I was like, there's moments in this fight, man, where he looks like Roy Jones. And I know that's like maybe a little bit extreme, but if you watch it, there are moments where there's like flashes of that between how fast he's doing it and how he's changing his footwork and changing position. There was things about this performance that were really special, and particularly in light of Josh Taylor's last performance against Jack Catterall. I don't know if I favor him, but I like Teofimo's chance against really any top guy at 140. I think him and Arnold Barbosa is a great fight. Him and Regis is a great fight. Regis Prograis. Him and Jose Zepeda is a great fight. I know those two guys are supposed to fight each other, so, maybe Teofimo fighting the winner of that matchup. I like his chances in all of those matchups. I think he's a live dog in any top fight at 140. And I think he's a really dope, exciting addition to what's already a pretty packed weight class. So as far as him coming back from the loss and everything, I think this one is mission accomplished. I thought he looked great. Again, I think I would like to see him off the ropes a little bit. I think a stronger pressure fighter or maybe a more accurate puncher would have been able to capitalize on those moments a little bit more than Campa was able to. But overall, congrats to Teo. Hell of a fight. Next weekend, we got the big rematch between Oleksandr Usyk and Anthony Joshua. This fight almost has a little bit more juice to it with the fact that Tyson Fury has now re-retired. He unretired and then 3 days later re-retired. So I don't know what the fuck his deal is, but it's hard to ever know with Tyson Fury. But Tyson Fury aside, this is a fight that I'm very excited for. The first fight I think was a great heavyweight fight. It was high-level boxing. There was a lot of give and take. And ultimately, Usyk is just faster, more explosive, more coordinated, more offensively diverse, more elusive. He's more everything other than more size. The only thing Joshua really has going for him in this fight is his size. And, hopefully he's able to use that size. And I've said this before, but the strategy of his in the first fight of making it a boxing skills fight as opposed to imposing his size and making his physicality known to Usyk, I think that was a missed opportunity. You look at some of that inside work that Chisora was able to do. You know, there were moments where he was able to make Usyk uncomfortable, and that was a rough fight for him. And I don't think that Chisora has the boxing skills that Joshua has. So I think if Joshua can have a little bit more of a physical mentality, a little bit more of an offensive mentality, I think that goes into why, you know, Robert Garcia's in the corner with him this time. I think he's just looking to spice his offense up a little bit. You know what I mean? To have a little more juice on what he's doing. He can't beat Usyk being as reserved as he was that last fight. It's just not going to happen. If he allows it to be an arm's length distance fight, even with his size and his length, Usyk has too many tools to go to. There's just no way. I don't think there's any heavyweight in the world, maybe even including Tyson Fury, that can beat Usyk in a battle of skills at heavyweight. We haven't seen a fighter this dynamic and athletic at heavyweight in a very long time, because we've been in this era where these guys are so fucking big. They're all 6 foot, anywhere between 6'5" and 6'10", you know, and most of them well over 230, 240 pounds. You know, this guy's 6'3", 225, and he moves like a fucking middleweight. You know what I'm saying? And he's not a feather fist, and he can take a punch. So my personal opinion is that, you know, on some level, I think we're watching a very special fighter here. And if Anthony Joshua were to beat Usyk in a rematch, that would make him an incredibly special fighter. My personal take, and I think a lot of people's take, I think Usyk is going to repeat the first fight. I think Joshua is going to be able to make some adjustments. But I think ultimately, whatever adjustments Joshua is able to make, I think Usyk will be able to adjust to those adjustments. But we'll see, man. I think it's a great matchup. I have a lot of respect for AJ for taking this fight, taking this rematch directly off of the loss. You know, there's not a lot of guys in all of boxing, including Canelo, that are doing that. You know, Canelo's not fighting Bivol immediately after. Joshua's fighting the baddest man, one of the baddest pound-for-pound fighters in all of boxing. You know, he's just jumping right back in. That's a level of self-belief. You know, we can talk about, I know people have talked about his mental fortitude, but to me, just the fact that he's taken that fight right off rip says a lot to me about where he's at. So I'm not as worried about all that. I think he's a little bit more mentally durable than people give him credit for. I don't think you could keep stepping in, you know what I'm saying, with guys on this level if he didn't really believe it. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's going to be a hell of a fight. I'm very excited for it. Again, that's next Saturday. My guest this week, as I said, very talented top middleweight prospect, Troy Isley, fresh off a win over Victor Toney on the undercard of Teofimo Lopez and Pedro Campa. Stacked card, a lot of talented young guys, and I think Troy, you know, had a tough opponent, and he did what he had to do, and he was very impressive. I think he's a real impressive fighter, and he's a real cool dude, and I hope you enjoy our conversation. All right. Welcome to episode 72 of the Slip and Wait podcast. My guest this week, one of the best middleweight prospects in the world, Troy Isley. Troy, I'm sure a lot of people watching know who you are already, but just go ahead and introduce yourself. Let everybody know the accolades and accomplishments, all that.
Troy Isley, 10-time national champion as an amateur, 2020 Olympian, 2019 Pan American Games bronze medalist, 2017 World Championship bronze medalist, and 7-0, 4 knockouts as a pro right now. Signed with Top Rank.
And for those who don't know, Troy got a nice win this past Saturday on ESPN Plus. Tricky opponent, right? Victor Toney was a tricky guy, very defensive. Just assess your performance. How'd you feel in the fight, and what were maybe like some of the lessons?
I mean, honestly, I came out. I thought I was going to be able to open him up a little bit, but probably by like the third round, I realized that the guy had good defense. So I didn't really want to waste any shots. So I had to be a little cautious and stuff like that. I tried to force it a little bit in the fourth round, and he caught me. He caught me with a right hand, and it was a good punch, and he had a little bit of pop. And then, but I felt like I like how I finished towards the end. I felt like I kind of caught his timing a little bit. Like probably if it had 2 more rounds, maybe it would have, kind of start going my way a little bit, But I like how I finished. I liked it, I just.
I was gonna say too. One of the first things I noticed was it looked like in the fifth round something really clicked, or there was some kind of switch that flipped for you. Can you describe what that was?
Well, I mean, kind of, because I just had to. I felt like because I'm considered as a top prospect, and I got hit with that punch. I just had to, all right, I had to, step it up a little bit. You feel me? I just had to step it up a little bit, show my class a little bit. Just show that I'm, better than him.
What is that like when you're in with a guy that's that awkward and he's not willing to open himself up at all? What is that like? Is it just like I just got to stay within myself and just keep executing?
Yeah. Well, I mean, really, I was just like, all right. I mean, I gotta out punch this guy, but I can't get too greedy. You feel I can't get too greedy, but I gotta I still gotta control. I gotta control the ring. I gotta control the ring and keep control the pace and not let him get off and keep my head off the line.
And it was tricky too, right? Because a lot of times,
Yeah.
like awkward veteran type guys like that, they're more so awkward offensively, not so much
Yeah.
defensively. Like, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? It's like guys that throw
Yeah.
punches weird. He actually threw his punches kind of normal, but his whole
Yeah.
defense was super awkward.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like he was
Yeah.
very much like he was willing to kind of just sit in there,
Yeah.
you know.
And he blocked a lot of my body shots. So I wasn't really throwing a lot to the body this fight, but it was because he was blocking a lot of them. He had good defense right there.
And he was like, I mean, almost like the complete opposite of your last opponent, right? Dante Stubbs.
Yeah, yeah. Dante was swinging for the fences. I knew Dante was going to be. He was strong though. I knew he was going to be strong for the first three, but I just knew I just had to keep breaking his body down, and I'll land a shot and it'll go. I felt like I could have got Dante out of there in the fourth. It was just 10 seconds left. When I dropped him.
He's a tough guy, man. He's a wide swinger. One of the things I noticed that I wanted to bring up to you and you could just speak on it, man. Obviously, everything that's going on with Brittany Griner, bro. I saw you wearing her jersey. Can you just speak on what compelled you to do that?
I mean, I seen her at the Olympics. I didn't get a picture with her, but she was cool. She seemed cool. I was like right there next to her. I got the video on my Instagram. It's like pinned up there too. But I don't know. I just felt bad. She stuck out there. She played basketball. She was helping them out, and they just lock her up for that. For I don't really get too much into it about marijuana, but I mean I guess it's legal in a few states, so I mean it's not that bad, but it's just that that she stuck and she got 9 years for that for something that's not even a violent crime. It's
Right.
not like she blew anything up or killed somebody. She didn't harm anybody, so I just feel bad for her. That's all.
It's a really difficult situation, regardless about like the cannabis issue. Just the fact that
Yeah,
she's stuck
yeah,
out there
yeah,
for that long is fucking
yeah.
terrible.
It's just the fact that it's non-violent. For it's non-violent. So it's like, why is she sitting 9 years for something that's not even harmful? It's just non-violent. Yeah, that's all.
It's horrible, bro. I just thought it was cool that you did that and that you kind of
Yeah,
put on for that. I thought that was cool. As far as, obviously, I think a lot of people would say you're one of the more exciting young middleweights right now. And the middleweight division, in a lot of ways, is like pretty up for grabs. There's great fighters, but a lot of them haven't fought each other. You got like Charlo and Andrade,
yeah,
Golovkin. What do you see as like some of the fights for you to put you at that level? You know what I'm saying? So not necessarily somebody like Andre, but what are the fights where
yeah.
people start talking about you with those guys?
I probably got to fight like people like Ammo Williams, like Israel Madrid Moss, and like Janet Beckhan and stuff like that. Those are like early tests for me. I feel like those are gonna be like the early tests. Probably like maybe if not a year, like 2 years, maybe 2.5 years.
Is that how you kind of see your progression, sort of moving into like contender type fights in the next 2 years or so?
Well, really, really, I see myself moving to contender next year for real. Contender standing next year, and then the year after. So really, 2 years.
I mean, I think you and Janabek would be a fucking classic
Yeah, yeah,
because
yeah,
he's
for
he's
sure.
he's a tough guy. He does a lot of things, and obviously your hand
Yeah,
speed and your power. I mean,
yeah.
that makes for a great fight.
That's someone I definitely I feel like I would have to get past in order to get where I need to go in my career for sure.
Yeah, and I think one of the cool things is like a lot of fighters right now, they struggle with staying active. Like it's tough for guys to stay active, and you've been like
Yeah,
very active in the first couple
yeah.
of years of your career. How have you been able to do that?
I mean, I told my team I wanted to be real active this year, so that was just a big thing I wanted to do. I felt like I'd be getting more comfortable in the ring as well, but I told my team I want to stay active. Like the more I fight, I'm not really like a loud person. I'm kind of like it low key a little bit. So the more I'm out there, the bigger my fan base gets. So I'm just staying real busy for that. And then like the more I fight, the better I get.
I mean, I love that, bro. It's like, why not
Yeah,
stay busy in the ring as opposed to staying busy
yeah,
on fucking TikTok or whatever? Like
right.
let the people see you do what you do.
And then also it keeps me in the gym. You always in the gym. You rarely have time off. You feel me? I've been doing like back to back to back. So it's like I'm right back in the camp. I fought April 30th, then I got to go right back because I got to fight June 18th. Then I got to right back. I got to fight August 13th. So it was like you got to right back.
Right. So you're just keeping your blade sharp all the time.
Yeah, all the time. Yeah,
I mean, that's awesome, bro. What is like I love watching Al Mitchell in the corner. Can you
yeah,
like what his influence on you is?
yeah. So I met I was on the team with Michaela Mayer, my first year, 2017. So she was on the team 2017, then she went pro 2018, but she still lived in Colorado. So she would come on the campus, and she would always bring Coach Al. And I was still training with Coach Billy and the USA coaches, and then my coach K was still out there. He was a USA coach too as well. So I was still training with him, but Coach Al would just always come up to me, and we would just always gravitate towards each other, and he would just always will have one of being there, have a long session. He'll be training me and stuff like that. And then I had my pro debut. I didn't use him for that camp, and then I kind of did not like how I looked for my pro debut. So when I had my second camp, Coach Al came and I used him for that camp, and I had K as well, and I just felt like it was a huge transition from my first fight to my second fight. It was a way better performance, and I looked way better. Like I look pro, like a real pro. And this is right before the Olympics, so I just was like, I want Coach Al on my team, and. But other than that, he's just it's an honor. He's been in the game for like 80 years, so it's like Joe Frazier, the Floyd Mayweather team, the '96 team, the 2000 team. Andre Ward. Like he's been around all the greats. So just to have all that knowledge, it's an honor. And he's a good person too. I go up, I stay with him. We just be chilling, watching tapes. It just be me and Coach Al. We stay up there. I stay up there for like 3 weeks to begin camp, and then I go to Coach K in Las Vegas for like the next like 4 weeks or something like that. That's how I do my camps. But it's an honor to train with Coach Al.
And it's cool because he seems like one of those guys where even if you kind of pitch like a perfect round, he's still gonna have
Yeah,
something to give to you.
yeah,
Which I think
yeah.
a
He's
lot of
very
times
hard.
with like a hot prospect, it's easy for everybody to kind of like,
Yeah,
ride you a little
yeah,
bit like, yo, that was sick. But with him, he's
yeah,
always like looking for that one thing that you can pick
yeah.
up on, even in a good round.
Yeah, K like that too. My other coach like that as well. Both of them like that. But Coach Alry, he really is like that. He'll tell you the truth too. He was a little hard that fight, but I just felt like there wasn't nothing there that fight. It was just I just had to take what I can get,
Yeah, but
and
sometimes it's
keep it
like with a
moving.
guy like that, you just gotta like keep your jab busy, and,
Yeah,
and if he gives you something, take it. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
Like sometimes
right,
he's just a good fighter. He's just sometimes guys are just tricky.
yeah.
What were some of the things? Because you were saying before, what were some of the things that you didn't like in your pro debut that you were able to kind of work on with these guys?
My pro debut, my feet wasn't right. Like I was reaching real bad. I was not using my jab at all. And I just looked like an amateur. I was coming out like trying to like to start fast. I wasn't setting anything up, but it's just real amateurish. You feel me? Just rushing, falling over my feet. But I mean, I still look good in some ways. Like everybody said, I look good, but I didn't like it. You feel me? But some people say I look good. But at the same time, I was off for a whole year. I got my shoulders fixed the whole 2020 because the Olympics didn't happen. So I got my shoulders fixed, and then so I was off for a year, so my timing was off. But I still didn't like it.
Would you have like a torn rotator cuff?
No, not a rotator cuff. I had slap tears. So labrum. The right side was more of a cleanup, but the left side I had the bicep, I had rotator cuff, I had chip bone and the slap tear, and then the right side was basically just like a cleanup. But I didn't want to like basically like say if I didn't get the right side fixed and I'm looking good right now, and then eventually the right side gets messed up and I got to sit for another year. So I just got them both. I just got them both done, and USA paid for them because I was fighting. This is when I was on the team, and they knew I was fighting through it, so they paid for both surgeries, and they paid for rehab too as well. So they got me fixed, and I feel completely different.
That's good, bro. That's good that you got that shit fixed, man. Talk to me about some of the other guys that were on the card. I mean,
Yeah,
obviously there was some of the top prospects in the world, you, Xander, Duke Reagan, Charlie Sheehy. Who were some of the guys that stood out on the card for you?
I mean, of course, Xander definitely showed out for sure. Uh, my guy Duke showed out too as well. Duke had a tough opponent. That was a hard fight, and the guy was 7-0. So you got to give Duke his credit. And he pulled it out of the end. He took some shots, but I mean that guy was 7-0 with 4 knockouts. So it wasn't like the guy was a scrub. So but I felt like I like Duke. And then Charlie C, he's doing good too. He's surprising, definitely. Not I ain't gonna say he's surprising because Charlie was always nice, but I'm just surprised of like his punching power. I didn't think he could hit like that. Charlie had been hitting. I didn't think he can punch like that. That's the
Yeah,
only thing I'm surprised
he
about.
was sitting
But
down on his shot
Charlie,
real nice.
yeah, Charlie was always good, but I just didn't always think he had that power. But I definitely Charlie's definitely been looking good as well.
Yeah, bro. I thought Charlie looked great. I also forgot to mention Omar Rosario. He had a really tough fight.
Oh yeah. I was warming up his fight, so because me and Duke, we have the same coach, so we kind of had to warm up at the same time. It was kind of tight because we fought right after each other, so I didn't really get to look at Omar's fight. But Omar, yeah, he's definitely a great prospect too.
He was in a tough fight, bro. I think the thing that was really cool about this card that you guys were all on is like
Fight,
all of you had tough fights. All of you guys had difficult opponents. It wasn't like they were putting you in with like super easy fights. All of you were in with good fighters.
yeah. Tim said that while I was fighting, yeah, everybody in this card has had tough matchups, yeah.
But
But
that's a
I mean,
good thing,
I
bro.
like that
You want
though
to see that.
because when our test comes, we'll be ready for it. We're not just fighting people that's gonna lay down. We're fighting people that's coming to fight back. So I like that. Just I like it.
Nah, it's good for all you guys to get rounds, bro. I'm telling you, like, I'm a huge Edgar Berlanga fan, but I think getting 20 knockouts in a row or whatever didn't help his like development. So the fact that you guys are all having to think your way through difficult fights now, it's only gonna help.
Yeah,
What do you think of Tio, bro?
I like Tio. I think Tio nice. I ain't gonna lie, I like Tio. I forgot about Tio, but I like Tio. He got a tough 140 division though, but I think Tio can win the title. I think Tio can win the title at 140.
I thought this performance, it was like, the against Cambosos, he came out so fast, and then in this one, he came out smart behind the jab, and it just looked like his whole temperament for this fight was completely different.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Except for that boxing Illuminati stuff, I'm like, come on, Tio, what are you talking about? But Tio look good. He's focused on boxing, but he's been talking crazy. But he's focused on boxing. I like his head. He's definitely been focused. And he definitely looks sharp.
There's still, I think, times where he kind of hangs out on the ropes a little too much, but there's also times, bro, that hand speed, like he almost looks like Roy Jones. Like his hands are fast, bro, when he really like lets one of those combinations rip. Any thoughts on this coming weekend? We got Usyk and Joshua rematch. Any thoughts on who's gonna take that one?
Usyk's too technical for Joshua. Joshua makes too many mistakes. I mean, I don't. I see Usyk winning easy again.
It seems like there would be a lot of things that Joshua would have to change in order
Yeah,
to reverse that. You know what I mean?
yeah. Usyk's gonna pick apart every mistake that Joshua makes, but I like Usyk. Usyk is actually my favorite heavyweight. I like Usyk. I know they say like he's still developing as a heavyweight, and they say like he's small or something like that. But Usyk is my favorite heavyweight. I like Usyk.
Dude, I mean, it's like a whole different like all of these guys are like NBA power forwards, and then you have this other guy that's like super coordinated. He's good on his feet. He's got like fast hands. It's not all
Yeah,
just like jab, jab, 1, 2. You know what I mean?
yeah,
I think he's the most exciting guy to watch because it's like that
yeah,
Holyfield era where guys were still a little smaller and more mobile.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Besides Jared Anderson, yeah, yeah,
Anderson's a bad boy,
yeah,
bro.
yeah, yeah.
I mean, to me, I was like, Jared Anderson is like one of the scariest heavyweights that there's been in a long
He,
time.
he remind me. He remind me of Riddick Bowe.
I don't want to hype him up too much, but like to be honest with you, there's a part of me that's like his hands are faster than Riddick Bowe's hands. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? Like he's so
yeah,
athletic for a guy that size.
yeah.
You think there's anybody that can take Jared?
Nah, 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 nah. Not like what prospect wise, definitely not. But like in the future, nah, not as well. I think he's developing right. I think he's definitely the next, American heavyweight champion for sure.
Bro, I would love to see him fight the winner of Joe Parker and Joe Joyce. That'd be a good
Mm, yeah,
that'd be
yeah,
a real good test for him.
yeah. I think he beats him though. But yeah,
To be honest with you, I think he's the favorite in any fight that he's in. But there's enough decent, exciting heavyweights around right now. Like if he could even get like the winner of um, Andy Ruiz and Luis Ortiz or something like that. You know what I mean? So people could see him in with a top guy
yeah.
or Hergovich, dude.
I don't know who that is.
You know Philip Hergovich?
Nah.
He's another heavyweight prospect, real big, strong guy. He's good.
Okay.
I think
I'll
he's
look him up. I'm gonna check it. I'm gonna check him out. Where's he from?
I think he's from Russia or Croatia, somewhere in Eastern Europe, but he's very good. And he's not stiff. He's like real coordinated.
Okay. So not stiff. Okay. All right. Yeah, I'm gonna check him out. I'm gonna check. What's his name?
Philip Hergovich.
Okay.
It's a weird spelling. I'll send you I'll send you a
Yeah, I was
link.
about to say send it to me in the DM. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I'll
Okay,
definitely
okay.
send you something.
Yeah,
Um, One of the last things I wanted to ask you about, just because it happened today, I saw that Adrian Broner and Omar Figueroa got canceled. You saw that?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Were you surprised by that at all? Do you have any thoughts on that? I almost feel like a dickhead
I mean,
about it.
I wasn't surprised by that, but I don't want to say too much because he said it's because of mental health. So I ain't gonna bash him about it, but I'm not surprised about it. No, I'm not surprised by it, but I hope he gets himself together. Hope he gets his head back. Hope he can fight again.
I do too. I
But
think there's like two sides of it where, of course, with people, because it's
yeah,
hard, they're going to throw their hands up. But
yeah,
boxing is a very serious sport. If you're going through some shit, you shouldn't get in the ring. You know what I'm saying? I think that side
yeah,
is real also.
yeah. No, I agree.
And it's tricky. I was kind of looking forward to that fight.
Yeah, I was too. Definitely was.
It was going to be fun. I feel bad for Omar, dude. I feel bad for Omar.
Yeah, Omar wanted that fight. Yeah, Omar ain't fought in a minute either. So I mean, yeah.
I think it was going to be entertaining too, regardless of who won. I think they were going to put on a good show.
Yeah. No, I agree.
So, Troy, do you have any fights coming up that you know of? Since you're obviously a guy that we get to see every couple of months, do you have any idea when
I'm planning for something in October.
in October?
Yeah, something in October. I don't know a specific date yet, but it's gonna be in October though.
Damn, bro, you doing them quick turnarounds, man. I love it.
Yeah, man. Gotta stay busy, man.
Do you have any idea who it's going to be against, or is that part hasn't been figured out?
No, I haven't got no opponents yet, but we're I'm sure we're gonna get maybe 3 or 4 cent, but we'll see. It's for sure gonna be in October though. I don't know if it's gonna be early October. I think it's gonna be like mid to late October.
What would be, obviously, with middleweight being a little bit open, what's like your ideal fight? What's your dream fight?
Dream fight. I would say like early or like long term.
Long term,
Long term is Canelo, but like I don't know. Long term, yeah, definitely me and Canelo, yeah. Me and Canelo for sure.
I mean, hopefully, fucking you can manifest it on this show, and then if it ever
Yeah.
happens, people could say you said it on the Slip and Week podcast first.
Yeah.
Well, Troy, I appreciate you coming on, bro. Is there anybody you want to shout out or whatever before we wrap this one up?
Shout out ALX Boxing. That's the home team. That's where I started at. Shout out ALX Boxing. Shout out Oleksandr, where I'm from. Shout out Washington, D.C., where I was born.
Beautiful, bro. Well, I appreciate it, man. I appreciate your time. Thanks for coming on. Hopefully we can do it again next time you got a fight lined up.
Always, bro. Just hit me for sure. My fault about the late. I didn't have it downloaded, and for some reason this only took all day to download. But anytime, bro, just hit me for sure. I'll pull up anytime.
It was great meeting you, bro. We'll talk soon.
Thank you for having me, bro.
Peace.